I love this area. The one thing I really like about Athens, strangely enough, living here with Barb, is this area not far from her house that was originally supposed to be a housing development, and somebody put all these streets in, and they put all these power lines in. There's underground power lines all through here, and you can see storm drains and streets, and and then the housing development never got built. So somebody must have come through here and spray seeded some pines, because there's just a ton of pines back in here. But you still have these little roads, and they snake for, you know, when you loop around on these, there's lots of shade back here. It's a great place to hike. I really enjoy it. And I see other people walking their dogs back in here, but it's a great place to hike. And I come out here, and if I don't feel like getting in the car and driving to a park, I just want to get out for a quick hike, or it's really hot and I don't want to be too far away from a cooling drink, you know, I just come out here and loop around. So it clears my mind, and it's a great place to hike. Dave's personal little park. Now, from what I hear, this park was bought by the school board here in Athens, so it is going to eventually be a school, an elementary school probably, but that could be years away. So there will never be houses back on these little streets. Back when this was built, back in, I guess, back in the mid-2000s, they thought, I guess, that someday that they would put in houses back here, but apparently not. You find kids skating, boarding back here, and kids do party, and the city of Athens does come back in here and pick up the trash and clean it out so it doesn't get too bad, and the streets are all bordered, all, you know, blocked off, so it'd be very hard for someone to get their car back here, but occasionally people do. But it is a great place to just wander. Anyway, so I enjoy it. That's one of the things I like about, strangely, one of the stranger things I like about staying here with Barb. Anyway, as I've said in my little channel here, my plans are to eventually, in September, move to North Carolina. I got a friend who's retiring, and there's an apartment that's going to be available. We're hoping it all works out, okay? So we'll see. And that's my plans for right now, other than just hanging around here, maybe traveling over to Atlanta, doing some more touristy stuff here in northern Georgia. I'm just kind of chilling out and working on my web business and my YouTube stuff. Waiting for Labor Day and the opening of Crotchy's Catfish Cafe. Do you believe that? I honestly, it's a joke. It is a joke. But some people actually think that we got investors and we're going to open up a catfish cafe with my puppet as its mascot. I don't know. One thing I wanted to just touch upon today is this whole issue with Campervan Kevin and Vanlife Sheldon's travels and the controversy there, and how I cover it and how it all bumps and bangs around and all this stuff. I have a journalism background, okay? I went to college, JMU, graduated in 1980, James Madison University, Harrisonburg, Virginia, right there on I-81 as you're coming up. Anytime you're coming up I-81 through Virginia there, you'll see it. It's right on the interstate. Great school, I loved it. But I majored in communication arts and political science. And when I got out of college, I did do a couple of jobs like at record shops and stuff, but I got a job at a newspaper and I worked there for 3 or 4 years. It was a local paper that covered Northern Virginia. But I covered crime and politics, and I covered court cases and murder cases and police actions. And well, there was one area where one day we had a gas explosion, and I covered that. And yeah, I've done all of it. I've covered all of that stuff. I've met a lot of cool people that have run for governor and Congress and all that stuff. So I do have a journalism background. I've done some work for Associated Press. I then worked for a bunch of trade publications that cover broadcasting, and it was very much a journalistic kind of thing. So I've done all that, and I have a journalistic background. Even though I don't call myself a journalist, I kind of think like a journalist, and I try to apply my journalism background to like covering stuff. You know, now most of the time when I'm covering nomads here, it's just basically a day-to-day thing. Okay, Nomadic Fanatic, you know, fixed his generator, and Living Free Mikey is in South Dakota heading to wherever, and you know, I'm just doing that. It's just, you know, fun stuff. I enjoy watching the nomads. I like to just talk about them. But every now and then we get something that happens that really becomes almost like a story. You know, it's almost like a news story. this whole thing with Campervan Kevin and Vanlife Sheldon's travels, you know, he said, she said, people are making allegations, people are posting things on Facebook, their friends of theirs, their enemies of theirs are all chiming in, people are posting anonymous interviews on other channels, and everybody's talking about it. And what, you know, who said what, you know, what is going on, and people, I think, just, they enjoy a little bit of, he said, she said sometimes, they really do. You know, these people, they enjoy watching. I mean, I like watching Campervan Kevin. I think he's got a wonderful channel. And I've been watching Vanlife with Sheldon's Travels a lot. I like them. Mike and Stephanie seem like nice people. And I like Destination Open Road and Aja, Scott and Terry, the whole gang. I enjoy watching these people. But at one, you know, I like to think I have a friendly relationship with them, but I don't consider them friends. Never met any of them. Although I did come close to meeting Kevin, but it didn't happen. But at the same time, I see my channel in a funky little way as a kind of a newsy place, you know? And, you know, I look at stories and I say, okay, this story has some legs to it. And I look, and when I post a video, and okay, I'll get views, and my views are up, and there's some interest in this, and I can tell by my analytics that people are watching what I'm writing, and what I'm putting up, what I'm posting, what I'm talking about. So I go with it. I look at my analytics a lot, and I say, okay, you know, they like me talking about this person. They're very interested if I talk about Nomadic Fanatic and his potential girlfriends. There's a lot of interest in that. When I talk about, you know, somebody else, there isn't. So I do tend to cover certain things because of people's interests in things, okay? And I can tell that from my analytics, I can tell that from my comments, I can tell that from the views I get on each video. And the last week or so, I've gotten a lot of views, and that is because people are very interested in Vanlife Sheldon's Travels and Campervan Kevin and what's going on there and all the ramifications, and how Destination Open Road, who are friends of both, are playing it, and all the different things that are posted on my site and other sites, and interviews and whatever. And you look on other people's channels and whatever, and everybody else is sounding off on it. So I cover it, you know? The story has what we call in the journalism business legs. Now, eventually that will fall away, okay? I mean, eventually people will get sick of it, or there's nothing more to report. And yeah, as a journalist, or, you know, allegedly a journalist, you have to decide, is it worth continuing to cover, or are people just friggin' sick of it? And I think we've gotten to a point that most of the information about this whole controversy has come out. Everybody said their piece. And I think we're probably at the end of the news cycle for it. But who knows? You never know in the journalism business. Is some other shoe going to drop? Is somebody else going to post a video tonight or tomorrow with some new allegation from some, you know, anonymous Patreon source or whatever? Who knows? Is somebody going to dig up somebody's, you know, court records or past history and find something? You know, it's the small potatoes. We're not talking about, you know, politics here. We're not talking about city government or counties, or we're talking about a bunch of people at the bottom of YouTube. But you know, you got to realize it from my perspective is that I cover things from a journalistic perspective. That's how I was trained. Do I consider myself a journalist? No, I don't like the term. I don't even put that in a resume. I'm not a journalist. I did work for a newspaper. I do cover news. Do I make mistakes? Sure. You know what? All journalists make mistakes. Whether you work for Fox News or CNN or the Washington Post or the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, every single journalist has made mistakes. Most of the time, those mistakes just go by the board and never get corrected, and that's it. Occasionally, if somebody really makes a stink about it, a correction will be posted or whatever. You know, and I'm fine with that. You know, I make mistakes. I get people's names wrong. I mean, you know, you don't realize that when you are reading a newspaper, and I've seen that many times when I've covered an event and I see it written up in the local paper, I see a lot of errors. Oh, they misspelled that guy's name, and that guy's title's wrong, and that didn't happen that way. But yet, you know, unless somebody really makes a stink about it, it just goes out that way. Nobody corrects it. So what you're watching on the news, always take it with a grain of salt. there's probably a lot of errors in the story. That's just part of being human. You know, but anyway, I digress. So anyway, just a little bit of background about what's going on here. You know, I got to make a judgment every day. Is this worth continuing to cover? At the moment, I think we're probably wrapped it up. You know, who knows, though? You know, if we have the Destination Open Road gathering next week, and maybe some of the revelation will come out. And if it does, I guess I'll be here to report it. You know, I'm not going to just walk away from it. It is drama, and people like drama. You know, what if you turned on the evening news some night and David Muir comes on? No, nothing much happened today. We're just going to run some cartoons now. Good night, everybody. That's not the way it happens. They'll dig up some drama. Believe me, they'll find something. A plane crash in Venezuela, or they'll dig up something to put on the news every night and get you watching. So anyway, people say, "Oh, I have alliances, I have allegiances, I like this person, I like that person." There are definitely people on YouTube that I enjoy watching, and those are the ones I talk about, okay? That doesn't mean that I personally like them or I'm friends with them. I just enjoy watching some YouTubers, and some YouTubers I don't. There are many YouTubers that do wonderful channels, but I just don't find them compelling, you know? And I'm sure the same way with you. And there are others that are more kind of off on the side there that I, really enjoy watching. And sometimes I get tired of him and stop watching him and go to other people and whatever. So anyway, that's a little bit of background about what I'm going on. I know some of YouTubers out there are going to blow it out of proportion. Oh, that Dave, he's always wrong. He gets it wrong again. He's always trying to hype things. Oh. Meanwhile, they're doing the same thing as I'm doing. They're looking at what's getting them views, and they're following those particular storylines and whatever. Okay? Everybody's doing the same thing. Some are just doing it better than others. I mean, if you're running a YouTube channel that you want to grow, that you want to make some money off of, yeah. If your YouTube channel is just a fun little thing that you're doing, you don't care about it, then fine. But YouTube, I think a lot of people use it in different ways. But, I'm using it kind of with at least a little bit of a journalistic background. All right, so there. Just wanted to get that off my chest. I'm having a wonderful walk today. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning on a very humid, hot day here in metropolitan Athens, Georgia. Walking down all these crazy, empty streets. But it is shady, and the shade makes a big difference. But I haven't had a good walk in a couple days, and it feels good today to get out and at least get something done, get a good sweat going. All right, folks, that's it for today. Just a quick little update on my Dave Hughes channel. Whatever. All right, folks, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Let me know what you think. I love your comments. If you think I'm full of S, let me know. If you want, what do you think about how I'm covering things? And again, no one's holding a gun to your head and forcing you to watch anything. If you don't like my channel, then don't watch it. But I do have to kind of follow where the money is, so to speak. If the ad revenue's up, if the views are up for a certain topic on my channel, that's where I tend to go, I'm trying to make a living on this channel. I don't make a living wage on it. I never have. But it certainly is a nice amount of money so that I can, pay some bills and buy some food and put some gas in the tank, okay? I am not an Adam the Woo. And I do also have a web business that definitely helps me out too. But so that's that. All right, folks, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Rant Under. Oh, look at this. Some kids have made a skateboard ramp back here, or some sort of skateboardy device, huh? I don't know, man. I don't know.